Actually, it's going to be huge. It's going to be this size. But there's a lot of space in between. This is what I'm telling myself. Hi, I'm Sharon, and welcome to episode 3 of Sampler Style. Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 3. I am very excited to be talking with you today. So if you are looking for a tutorial on floss drops or thread drops, I posted one. That was my last video. It was not a regular episode, so I did not number it. So yeah, if you want to find my episodes, I also do have playlists in my channel. Tutorials will go under tutorials, and regular episodes will go under sampler style. So thank you so very much if you have subscribed to this channel, have watched this channel, given a thumbs up, or made a comment. I really do appreciate all of you. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you subscribe to this channel. So subscribing to a content creator's channel really helps us out. It is a great gift that you can give to me or any other content creator that you enjoy. So please subscribe and do all those other things that I talked about. Thumbs up, make comments. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate you watching today because I know you have lots of choices. So I also have another channel. I have a knitting channel. I'm wearing a hand knit today. This is the Carbeth sweater by Kate Davies. If you want to hear more about this sweater and other things that I've been knitting, if you're interested in knitting, you can go to my other channel, which is Knit Style, and I will link that down below. And I also talk about my personal life more over there because my husband joins me and we chatter a little bit about that. I don't chatter about that here because this is pretty much about stitching. Speaking of stitching, let's get into it because I do have a lot to show you today. It's been about 3 weeks since I recorded a regular episode. So I have 3 works in progress to show you. Actually, well, 2 works in progress, a new start, which I wasn't planning on, but you know how these things happen. And I have some haul. I visited my local needle workshop, which I have visited before but never talked about on here. I have some footage of that that I will throw in. And yeah, so let's start. So the first project I'm going to show you is Thy Love Divine by Hands Across the Sea. And I am stitching this as a wedding gift for my husband's granddaughter, my step-granddaughter, and her fiance. They are getting married in May. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to go to that wedding. I blame COVID indirectly. So what happened was, last year our son graduated from college, and I was denied the opportunity to see him walk. And so it turns out that they just let us know that they are going to let 2020 graduates walk in 2021. Guess when it is? The day of the wedding. So, and the wedding is in another state. So our son takes precedence. Sorry, it's just the way it goes. I've been waiting to see my son graduate for many years, and yeah. So anyway, that brings us to the sampler. I am stitching them the most beautiful sampler, so I'm sure it will be fine. We will see them. They're having a big party on their first anniversary next year when more people can attend, and we will go to that. But here is the sampler. I love it. I love how it's coming out. So I will put some footage over here of where I was last time, and this is where I am now. I'm pretty much almost finished with this sampler. Pretty much. Since we spoke last, I did these flowers that were so much fun to do, and I charted myself their names and their wedding date. I have their wedding date covered up for privacy, in case you were wondering. So yeah, so I have their wedding date covered up, but I used an online cross-stitch application called Stitch Fiddle, and I love that application. It's fantastic. I just threw it on my iPad and used my Apple Pencil and charted their names out. It took me maybe an hour one morning, and my husband saw me. I usually don't sit at the dining room table, but I just kind of needed to spread out, and so I'm there with my iPad, and my husband saw me sitting there, and he's like, I was wondering what you were doing over there. I was charting these names out. So it went really well, really no problem. So I had never stitched over one ever in my life. I've only been stitching seriously for about a year, but it went really well. The over one was easy. This is a 36 count. It is 36 count Country Mocha by Zweigert. It's only dyed on one side, but that's fine. I'm cool with that. It's a beautiful linen. I have 3 projects on it right now, so that's incredible. And the 36 count over one went really, really well, as you can see. The only thing is, okay, so I'm really good at higher level math, not so good at adding, subtracting, multiplying, divide. Like I'm not fluent in math at all, so I use a calculator, and sometimes I get confused when I do math problems, lower level math problems. But so I charted this. I miscalculated somehow, and I started it too far over to the left, and I realized as I was stitching, ooh, this is not right. So I had to rip it out because it was bad, and ripping out over one is not fun. I knew that, and I experienced it. It was not fun. So I restarted it, and it's still a little off. Honestly, I did the math 5 times. Maybe because it's over one calculated on an over 2 piece, probably. I'll get better at it as I go along with this. But yeah, it's still, if you can see, it's still over to the left a little bit, but not bad. I'm going to stick some motifs here. Like I might do these little dotted lines here. I might put them down here in other colors, and that will mask that a little bit. It's not bad. It's not on my wall, so I don't really care. They're not going to notice it at all. And then I started this beautiful full coverage motif down here. So this, all of this, where these diamonds are, is stitched in rice stitch, and it's beautiful. It gives such nice texture to the piece. I mean, look at that gorgeous texture with the rice stitch. It is just stunning. And I kind of picked colors as I went. So I picked this, I did my own colors through this whole sampler because Nicola's colors were very pinky, so I changed them to more of a muted rainbowy, and I kind of picked my own colors. So if you can see on hers, she had initials here in these blank spots. So I have their names on already, so I didn't want to put initials, so I just filled those in. So the repeat for this, let's see if this will make sense. So we have, so starting with this square here, we have this square, and then this square down below. Okay, it's hard to describe. So she had it charted as these two squares are the same. But then she had it, this square should be the same as this bottom square, but she had this bottom triangle different. So I decided to make this different. So each row has a different color scheme now. I'm not sure if I love that. I might rip these two out and make them to look like this. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to fill the whole thing in first and figure it out. But this is taking longer than I thought because you're covering up every square and you're adding an extra X, and it's a lot of color changes, and it's fun, but you know, it takes time. So that's fine. It's going well. And then after I finished that, so I outlined it first. I did all these greens first in the rice stitch, because if I had done the whole thing and it was off, that would have been bad. So I just did the bones of it first, the green, and it worked out fine. And I had to adjust it a little bit because of my modification here. And according to my calculations, it should be fine, and it should line up with the border. But then again, I've had things go awry, so we shall see. It'll be fine. I will make it work. I will make it work. So after I finish that, I just have to do the border, and it's finished. I am hoping for a mid-April finish on this. Mid to late April. And have it framed and sent out to them. I don't know if they'll get it by their wedding date, but we'll see. So that's that project. Love it. Highly recommend. Let me tell you, Nicola's patterns, she's incredible. I could stitch her for the rest of my life. I love how she charts. So what she does, this is an electronic pattern, and it's fantastic. So at the very end, she puts the entire thing, the entire chart all together. She has it separated into pages, but then at the end she has the entire chart on here. So you can blow it up, so you don't have to really go through the pages. You can just blow it up on your device and stitch right from your device. Game changing. Game changing. I love it so much. Modern Folk Embroidery, I'm stitching one of his right now. He doesn't do that. I wish he did. It's fine. Just stitching page by page is fine. I'm getting more used to it because I'm new, but I'm getting used to it. So, all right. So let me show you project. Oh, here's this. Sorry, I forgot to do this last time. Here are the flosses that I'm using. All DMC. My color conversion for this is all down below. So if you are interested in stitching this and you want to use my colors, look in the description box. It has her DMCs, and then I put mine for the conversion. So there we go. Next project. I have a fall stitch that I'm doing all year. It is called Dark 13 Stitching, hashtag on Instagram. And here she is. I love her. This is Halloween Queen by Not Forgotten Farm. And I got a lot done on her last month. So we're stitching our fall pieces on or around the 13th. I did not stitch on the 13th this month, but I think I stitched like the 16th through the 19th. I spent a couple days with her, and she's beautiful. Oh my goodness. I posted her on Instagram, and I tagged Not Forgotten Farm, and she made a comment on my Instagram, which is cool. So, yeah, she's this, you know, pumpkin head with this dress with weeping willows on it. And I think she has gravestones on her dress down below. Excuse me. Yeah, I will post a quick shot of where I was last time with her. So yeah, I'm really happy with how she's coming out. And these are the beautiful flosses. Oh, these fall colors. I love fall colors. So yeah, love her. All DMC. All called for DMC. The only thing I did was I switched out the color of her head, because originally I think they had her head in this yellowish orange, and I wanted her to be more of a pumpkin head, so I just switched the two colors. So she is super fun. Again, stitched on the same linen, this Zweigart Vintage Country Mocha. I had a bunch of that, and I'm out of it now because I used it all for these projects. Okay. I did not work at all on my Coming to America Sal is over, but my Coming to America project, it is in hibernation right now, and as soon as I finish the Hands Across the Sea sampler, I will pick that up again because I want that finished. I'm hoping to finish that by June. It shouldn't be a problem. So, all right, I have a new start. So I was not planning on a new start, but like every stitcher, things come along and you just get the desire to do something. So I love Modern Folk Embroidery. He is one of my favorite designers, and I have two pieces on the go by him. I have a holiday piece that's also in hibernation, and I have a fall piece, the Hound and the Hare, that's in hibernation. And so he did his latest Flosstube, and he showed the most beautiful pattern. Oh my goodness. It's in Italian, so excuse my very poor Italian accent. The name of the pattern is Il Fazzoletto Ricamato, which translates to a handkerchief pattern, because that's what she stitched it on. The girl who stitched this in the 1800s stitched this on a handkerchief, which was like 84 count. That's crazy. So here is the pattern. It is beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's whimsical, it's romantic. The symbols are really, really cool. So I am just enamored with it. The colors are stunning. So he charted it in DMC, and I'm going to show you my colors. And the other thing is, I had a piece of linen that I had just gotten in, and it was absolutely perfect for this project. So how could I not? And DMC, I just went to Joann's and got my DMC, and it was on sale. So yeah. So here's my linen. It's huge. I just got this in. This is, look at this. This is stitched on a fat half of Bramble by Picture This Plus. This is 40 count, so it's half the count that she stitched it on. She stitched it on like an 80 count. This is a 40 count, so it's twice the size of this. So I have a very small start. These are the colors. I love the colors. Oh my goodness, look at these colors. Purple is one of my favorite colors, so that's one reason I was drawn to this. So this dusky purple, beautiful, and this periwinkle-ish blue purple. The only thing is this color here, this light tan, is kind of a boring color, but it looks really good with the purple. So I was gonna try to stitch it with a variegated. So I got a variegated from my local needle shop and I tried it out. I tried this Wood Smoke, which isn't the best match for it. It's a little darker and it's variegated. I didn't like it. I put it in and it was a little bit too even toned with the purple, and there was not enough contrast between the two. It's very subtle, but this has a better contrast. So I love it. It's gorgeous. And then it has this bright, this is one of my other favorite colors, this bright acid yellow. Love this. Okay, so this is a very long-term project. It will probably go into hibernation at some point. But this is something that I would like to stitch on my lunch hour. I'm retired, but I have a small business that I run, that I work on every day. But I thought after lunch, maybe I'd take a half an hour break and stitch on this. So I have a very small start. Jacob is running a stitch along for this. I mean, these colors, I just love them together. And this alphabet is so fancy and romantic. Look at that A. It's so pretty. I really love script alphabets. They're beautiful. I just really like them. I like all kinds of stitching, but I like romantic looking stitching. It's very pretty. Next week, maybe I'll show you another kit that I have. I'm not going to start anytime soon, but it's also very romantic, and it's French. This is Italian, and I love it so much. So Jacob is having a stitch along with this. He has a hashtag on Instagram, and he's going to do a page a week. I won't get a page a week done, but yeah, it's going to be a very long-term project. I'm just really enjoying it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is I'm really discovering what I like to stitch. So obviously samplers, love stitching samplers. There's things about this pattern that I love. Number one, it doesn't have a lot of color changes. You pretty much have one or two colors in each motif, and it's not really fussy stitching. It's just easy, relaxing stitching. I like that. This doesn't have a border, which is also really cool. And actually, it's going to be huge. It's going to be this size. But there's a lot of space in between. This is what I'm telling myself. There's a lot of space in between these motifs. I figured I added it up. There's about 35,000 stitches in here, which isn't the hugest thing for a fat half sampler. So yeah, I actually even had to make sure I was careful where I started it length crosswise. I could only leave 2 inches on either side because it'll be this wide. So where am I going to hang this? I actually have no artwork in my bedroom. My bedroom is for sleeping. I don't have a TV in there. I go in there, I go to sleep. It's minimal. I like minimalism. I have a lot of things, but I like to keep things minimal. But I'd like some artwork in there, so this is going to hang in my bedroom. I think I'm going to hang my romantic pieces in there when they're finished, which will be years from now, but that's okay. Okay, so those are my whips. Let's talk a little bit about haul. So the first thing I'm going to show you is not really haul, but it's kind of something new that I have. So I had ordered a Kay's Creation desk stand for myself, and I really liked it. And here's the one piece of it. I got the big one, the long one, but I don't use it the way that it probably is supposed to be used. So instead of holding it in front of me like this, I hold it out to the side like this. And I turn, because that's how I have a computer monitor that's kind of on an angle, and I sit not in front of my desk, but on an angle. I'll try to put a picture of me stitching in here. So I like to kind of have this hanging off the desk. But this is really long, and it was too big for my desk. So I didn't want to order another. She has a smaller one. I didn't want to order a smaller one because it's a lot of, it's not a lot of money. It's like 50 bucks, but I already spent like 50 bucks on this one. So we had this random piece of wood downstairs, and I said to my husband, can you cut that piece of wood a shorter length and then drill holes in it so I can use my stand? And of course he did it for me. So this is the piece that I use to hold my stitching. I stitch in a hoop, and I put some felt in so it doesn't damage the hoop, and the hoop goes in here, and I love this. So he cut it shorter. It's very sturdy, it's very thick. He drilled the same holes in it, and I put the clamp on, and it's perfect. I love it. It's the perfect size for my desk, so it's not like banging into the wall and like hitting other things I have on my desk. So it is just right. I love this thing. Because I'm a two-handed stitcher. I mean, I can... Sometimes when I'm lazy and I don't feel like, you know, setting that up on my desk, I'll just stitch with one hand. But I really like to just poke with my... Wait a minute. I go up with my right hand and down with my left. And that seems to be working out well for me. I've kind of trained... My left hand isn't great, but I've trained it to poke. And I like two-handed stitching. I find two-handed stitching tangles my threads so much less. And I get a lot less twisting in my threads. So I prefer to stitch that way. Okay, so here is some haul that I got in the mail, and it's fabric. I love fabric. It's terrible. I just love it. But that's okay. It's just, I will use it. So from Rogue Stitching, I got a whole bunch of Picture This Plus fabric, which I love. So this is a fat quarter of sand. Beautiful. This sand is 40 count. I got a fat quarter of 40 count fawn. And I wanted to show you something very interesting about the fawn. So, last week I showed you my fat half of 40 count fawn. Look how variegated it is. It's insane. It has a lot of modeling, which is fine, but I think this has a little bit too much for my taste for a sampler. I don't know. Look at the difference between this and this. This doesn't even look like the same color. I mean, it is. I can see the same tones in it. But this fawn, this 36 count, I understand having different shades of color, but oh my goodness, this has no modeling. This has a lot. So I think what I might do with this 40 count fawn, so I think I'm going to over dye it. I do have dyes for cotton. I hand dye yarn for a living right now. You have to use different dyes for yarn than you do. Oh, you have to use different dyes for wool than you do for cotton or linen. So I did order some dyes from my supplier for linen in neutral colors. So I think I might over dye this one with that at some point, because it's just a little bit too modelly for me. Hopefully it'll even it out a bit. Both of these are 36 count Picture This Plus. This is Wren. Love this color. It's like a gray, darker gray brown. And this next color I'm completely obsessed with, and I want more. This is 36 count Wren, which is a greenish brown. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I love this. So last fall I purchased the All Hallows Eve sampler by Joan Elliott. So cool. And I didn't start it because I didn't really have a linen that I really wanted to use. This one, for sure. So, this black on this khaki color is just beautiful. So again, this is Velt. And I really like fabric that has different colors in it, like 2 or more. Subtle. So these fabrics that I ordered, that I'm showing you, I ordered those back in the fall. So I knew that Picture This Plus at the time was taking 6 months. So I ordered them, I ordered a lot in October, November, and December. So they're all kind of coming in now, which is fun. I'm getting happy mail. So I didn't order these all at once. I just, like, 1 month I'd place an order, and then the next month I'd place another order. I have a big one coming. They had a sale for Black Friday, and I ordered a whole bunch. So that'll be coming toward the summer, which is really fun. Rather than join a club, I did this. They didn't have a club this year, or I would have joined it. So I did this and did my own club. So here's another comparison. I have Wren on 36 count, and I have Wren on 40 count. So here's the Wren on the 36, and here's the Wren on the 40. It's a little darker on the 36. But I know from dyeing that a lot of it has to do with the temperature of your water. I'm not sure if they use heat when they dye. I would expect they probably do. It probably depends on the humidity in your home. It depends on the chemicals in your water that day. So apparently, I heard from the owner of my local needle shop, Picture This Plus is dyeing 500 yards a day. So they have a commercial space, but how crazy is that? Okay, so I only have one other fabric to show you. It's enough. I had ordered this from 123 Stitch. You can request to be notified when things come into stock, and I had never tried any R&R linen, so I got this 36 count Winter's Brew, which is a gorgeous neutral. Right up my alley. It is a fat half. Beautiful color. 36 count. Winter's Brew by R&R. Stunning. Okay, last but not least, I took a little ride up to my local cross-stitch shop, my LNS. And I'd been there before. It is in Hyde Park, New York. It is called Deer Hill Farm Cross Stitching, and it's owned by a lovely lady, Pat. Hi, Pat, if you're watching. I love the store. It is a gorgeous store. She has everything so well organized. She has so many charts. She literally has all the floss. She doesn't sell online, so sorry, you can't order from her online. Oh my goodness. If you want a color that you want to find and you can't find it, she has it. She has so much floss. Beautiful, just, and so organized. It's just an incredible store. I'm showing you pictures as I talk about it. So I love going there. It's amazing. My husband had gotten me a gift card, so I did a little shopping, and yeah, so I purchased that floss that I thought I was going to use on the Italian sampler, that variegated, which I decided not to use. I may exchange it because I got a bunch of them. But my main purchase that day was Manor at Quaker Hill. Yeah, Brenda from Brenda and the Serial Starter just finished this. It's stunning, and I love it. And these are the flosses. She has all the floss, I'm telling you. We just ran around the store and got it all. And I haven't cut them yet because I'm not going to start this right away. This is on, supposed to be on 36 count legacy linen. Hold on, I think I have some of that. So I do have Picture This Plus 36 count legacy linen. Here it is. Here's the pattern and the floss. I think this is a fat quarter. I don't even know if this is going to fit. Yeah. But I do have a 40 count fat half coming. So if it's not going to fit on this, I haven't calculated it out yet. If it's not going to fit on this, then I'll use the 40 count. Gorgeous. Love it. This has a little bit of a greenish tinge to it too. It's really pretty. Okay, and then the only other thing I wanted to show you, I had a couple of the DMCs for that Italian sampler I couldn't find at Joann's, so I ordered some from 123 Stitch. That was before I went to my LNS. She has them. She has everything. But I also ordered some things that she didn't have. She doesn't carry Gloriana. But I just didn't want to order 2 DMCs from 123 Stitch and pay all that shipping. That's ridiculous. So I ordered some Glorianas, which I've never used before. I do like stitching with silk. I ordered 4 of them. No, 5. No, 4. And I'm going to use them probably on this, the 7 red alphabets sampler. And I have a gorgeous piece of off-white linen that looks a little bit like this. So that'll be really pretty. I have a lot. I'm a new stitcher, so I'm stash enhancing, and that's perfectly fine. You never know. What if we have another pandemic? We can't get things and things are closed. So I have things to do. It's awesome. I'm thrilled with what I've gotten. So yeah, so you know, you don't stitch that fast. So if you place an order with Rogue Stitching for Picture This Plus fabric, and you're not going to use it for 6 months anyway, it works out. You know, it's really very nice. So that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed everything that I was able to show you today. I hope that you have a good week. Stitch something beautiful, and cheers!